afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to kind of the closing bell report. I know I sent out a before market open brief. Well, I'm going to do another one of these after the close here. Let me answer some stuff up front. First of all, we're closed. We're done. No new members, folks. We're at capacity. Actually, we went through capacity in solo Amazon today, so I owe the folks in solo Amazon an apology. We were in go to training, and people registered multiple times, which took up multiple seats, folks. You weren't supposed to register multiple times for solo Amazon, so it went above 200, and that's all that room holds. So some folks couldn't get in because other folks registered multiple times. So at the end of the day, it's my fault. That's my fault. So we have to move out of go to training into go to webinar. So it sucks, because it's more work for me and because you guys can't see each other's chat and it's a pain, but that's what we have to do. But as of now, folks, Top Gun Options is done taking new members. If you're getting on board at this point, it's a little late to be honest with you. So maybe we'll see you in when's the next one? April-ish? April for if we open the doors for full throttle. Let me, bottom line up front, look at the Wall Street Journal at the closing bell here. Stocks rebound with Dow Industrials rising 5%. Because it's the bottom and everything's fine? No, on stimulus. Hopes. What do markets trade on, folks? Hopes and fears. So there's your hope headline. Let me just kind of scroll down a little bit further. U.S. coronavirus death toll climbs to 6. It was 2 yesterday, it's 6 today, and of course it's over with, right? The virus has spread worldwide. Not 2 people yesterday dead in Washington State. Now it's 6. Let me scroll down. Tim Cook and Apple bet everything on China. Then the coronavirus hit. Apple up, 10% today? Ladies and gentlemen, take a look at what happened. This market today, the S&P 500, could not get above the 50-day moving average. 3040 was the highest of today up until, you ready? Let me brief this. 3040, it failed to hit it here, failed to hit it here. What happens at 2:30 in the afternoon, ladies and gentlemen? Margin calls go out. Brokers say, man, you ain't got enough cash in this account. You need to liquidate. The market started to take a free fall and implode and was going to do this. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the invisible hand, I'm not going to say invisible because I saw it and I got confirmation texts. The New York Federal Reserve, what do we call? It's affectionately called the PPT. The Plunge Protection Team came in and bought equities with both hands. What? I didn't hear that. Of course you didn't. The Plunge Protection Team, the New York Federal Reserve, stepped in and bought equities right as margin call selling got panicked. That's exactly what happened today. So I added a bunch of bearish positions that were read into the close. Who cares? We'll talk through those in a second. Also added a bear call spread in weekly options brief right here at 1 o'clock that we closed. I closed as soon as I got on the solo Amazon brief, folks, 15 minutes early. I got on and said, close the S&P 500 bear call spread, 90% profit, $3,000 in an hour and 12 minutes or whatever it was, $3,000. That pays for a full throttle max annual membership. We did that in the weekly options brief. Now, I'm going to tell you all the other bearish positions are red. That's fine, folks. I'm going to talk through what I think's going on here, and it's not good. Let me remind you, when you hear the words emergency rate cut, don't forget the emergency part and stare at the rate cut part, folks. You ready for this? Let's brief. So again, let me bring up the big chart here of the S&P 500. Implosion bounced Friday off October lows up to the 200-day moving average today. Couldn't get through it, and we were going to go lower, and somebody pushed us through it. I'm telling you, folks, to sell into the pops with both hands. I don't know of one smart person that I've talked to today that believes this. Here are your 3 tells that this is a bullshit rally. The VIX, This is the biggest point gain, 1-day point gain in Dow history. Why? Because they came out with a vaccine. Did you not see the big pharma CEOs with the president? A minimum of 1 year from today, folks, to get a vaccine. All these fake news stories running around like, oh, an Israeli company with this or that, or we have a vaccine ready in 2 weeks. It's a lie. All the big pharma CEOs told the president today it's a year minimum for a vaccine. But anyway, if the Dow was no kidding, buyers stepping in and everything super fun, fantastic time, the VIX with a 1,300 point explosion would be down 30, 40, 50%. We would be back down to this resting heart rate if this was real. The VIX stayed elevated. Don't listen to people today after the close. Oh, the VIX got slammed today. They have no idea what they're talking about. Folks, if you are buying stocks today, you are getting lured into an ambush. Now, and I'll contingency plan about, well, Wiz, what if tomorrow the Fed keeps buying? I'm going to start buying calls and getting bullish, folks. That's the good thing about being an options trader is we're in an F-18, man. We can pull 9 Gs in the blink of an eye, whether it's bullish, bearish, or neutral. Okay? But a 1,300 point rally in the last hour of trading does not a rally make. So here's your 3 altimeters or instruments that this is an absolute joke. The VIX still hovering up here. Bonds, folks. My God, talk about a flight to safety. And the last metric that this is a ridiculous pump out of the Fed is gold. If this was the bottom and the all clear and everything super fun, fantastic, happy time, gold would have imploded today. The VIX stayed high, bonds were still a flight to safety, and gold was up. 3 tells, folks. Please do not walk into this ambush. Folks, I want this to be over and real and everything like that, folks. Listen to me, folks. I went to put on all my bearish trades in the morning, went to the gym. At the gym, the governor of Florida declared a state of emergency, folks. This is Florida. There was 2 cases, lady coming back from Italy, sick, walking around her county for at least a week, sick. And then another unknown case. They don't know how the one dude got it. Hadn't been to Italy, China, Japan. It's an unknown case. And before I jumped on the air right here, 2 more cases reported in Tampa Bay. Folks, if you look at the progression of this thing, it's math. It's a chart. You don't hear, hey, there's 2 people infected here, and tomorrow, and they're all fine and everything's good. Do you not remember me 2 months ago telling you about China? Oh, there's a handful of cases. Explosion. These things explode before they get better. And as we all know, China's lying. Did you see, well, you're not a nerd like me. Friday night, what was I doing? Look at China's PMI numbers, folks. China, 9 o'clock our time, on Friday night reported manufacturing and non-manufacturing PMI. I've never seen numbers like this in my life. A reading below 50 indicates contraction. Do you want to know what for the past year and a half, 18 months, 2 years that we've been in a trade war, the PMIs have been? They've all been above 50, with super fun, happy, fun time in China because we are not having an economic contraction. They were forecasting below 50, 45.1 and 51.4, 35.7, 29.6. I've never seen that decline before. Look at the history. Wow, yay, everything's fine in China. Everything, boom! And I'm going to tell you that this is a lie. It's worse than this. I think their PMIs are negative. Their cities, many of their industrial cities, are simply shut down. So let's ripple through this. 6 dead in Washington, not 2 yesterday, and they have 18 reported. And if you watch their press conference, they said we assume to have hundreds more. Did you see the one doctor on CNBC this morning? I believe, first of all, the kits are bad. Did you see what happened in San Antonio today? San Antonio virus patient rehospitalized after testing positive. They hospitalized him because they thought he had the flu. They're like, no, look at our CDC certified test kit. You're fine. Go home, go walk around, cough on people, go to the river walk and sneeze. Hey man, how you doing? Oh my God, I feel worse this week. Wait, come back in. And now using a real test kit, you're positive. I can't even. What? Governor Cuomo, New York's the emergency room doctor on CNBC this morning said, "I expect we will have thousands of cases in New York City tonight." NBC News, folks. Coronavirus has reached outbreak proportions and likely pandemic proportions in the United States, folks. Washington, California, Illinois, Rhode Island, New York, Florida, Oregon, and New Hampshire. Oh, that was the breaking news before I jumped on. Breaking news, a case has been reported in New Hampshire. This isn't, folks, you don't get it, and you just got hit by lightning. Like you're walking down the street, zap, you got coronavirus. You get it, and you keep walking around until you feel like crap and go to a hospital. So listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. The Federal Reserve stepped in 2008 to save what? Because of what type of crisis? Fill in the blank with me mentally. A financial crisis. Is this a financial crisis? No. This is a human health crisis. The last time I checked, the Federal Reserve isn't wearing a bunch of spacesuits and they're virologists. The happiest man sitting in Washington, D.C. right now, trust me, is not Donald Trump because he knows this was a Chinese biological weapon that accidentally got released. The happiest man in Washington right now is Jerome Powell because the Fed didn't have to today jump in formally with an emergency rate cut or QE. They did it through the New York Federal Reserve and the Plunge protection team. When the history of this is written, I know for a fact, folks, I know this cell phone sitting right here on my desk is literally priceless with the context that I have in it. Margin selling at 230, which was going to drive us into the dirt, and somebody came in and bought the market with both hands. I also believe it was the PBOC, the People's Bank of China, buying equities. So I am going to restate. Sell any of these rips and do not buy the dip. I don't mind sitting on my hands for 2, 3, 4, 5 days if the market's going to turn and me going, you know what? All clear has been sounded. I'm going to buy it with both hands. How has the all clear been sounded when states are starting to pop up like whack-a-mole saying we have infected people? Somebody explain this to me. Here are a couple more career calls. We bought EWJ today, which is the Japanese ETF. We didn't buy it. We bought puts on it. I'm predicting right now, today, ladies and gentlemen, that Japan is going to cancel the Summer Olympics. Fact. The Japanese people, from all the news reports I've been reading, are demanding they don't want people flying in from 192 countries. Let's just bring all these people from every country in the world to our country. What are you, nuts? The only people on the face of the earth that don't know that the Olympics are canceled right now is the International Olympic Committee and the Japanese Olympic Committee. Everybody else, and I've talked to one of our members down in Australia. He's like, Wiz, they've already changed the programming that was scheduled for the end of July, early August for the Olympics to other stuff. Australian TV knows that they're already canceled. So we bought puts on EWJ. How about March Madness, folks? How many of you are racing out right now to go buy a ticket to go to the Final Four or the Final Two game, the championship college game, and sit in an arena with 50,000 people? Me? I also bought Vail Mountain or Vail Resorts puts today, which closed down. They missed out on this rally. Why? Because people like Wiz are starting to talk to their family members and go, do you really want to fly out to Aspen in 3 weeks and run around with people from around the world sitting in a gondola coughing? Did you see the airlines today, folks? We're not going to charge change fees and cancel it. Why? Because they want you to book travel. They're trying to be like, hey, man, we're not going to hold it against you if you cancel, but at least give me your money now and you can move the ticket to later. And if you have Trump derangement syndrome, please do me a favor if you're watching this brief, turn the volume down or you only listen to it because your head's going to explode. And I don't want that matter getting on other people. And I just saw this going on in Israel today with their elections. What if this thing gets worse? Hopefully it doesn't again. I'm not praying for anything other than, my God, no human suffering and super fun time, man. I love super fun, fantastic, happy time. What if come November, the CDC's like, hey, man, I would not be going to a public polling station. The public polling station in Boca Raton down the street from me looks like the United Nations. I'm not going in public to vote. What if can the president declare a national emergency and move elections? Holy crap, folks. I'm an F-18 pilot. I'm an options trader, which means I plan for the worst. And if it doesn't happen, I'm pleasantly surprised and happy. Do not be lured into this trap that the New York Federal Reserve just put you in and say that everything's fantastic and then get destroyed because you'll be destroyed and you'll be miserable. Plan for the worst. And when it doesn't happen, be very, very, very happy. Again, the 50-day moving average up here on the 200 on the S&P 500 and the 200-day right here, the market will not live between here. There is violent moves between these indices. We just peeked our head above it. We up periscope today above it. Well, we didn't. The New York Federal Reserve did. You going to buy this thing with both hands tomorrow? Not me. If this thing does do another rocket like we did today, I'm going to sit on my hands and evaluate. But I told you last week, folks, and even in all my free briefs, all these sit reps that I did or these market intel briefs, I told you this would happen. I said I would buy. I didn't get filled, folks. I actually had some bearish call positions I wanted to buy. I wanted to buy S&P 500 calls today. They ran away from me. I told you to buy any rally, any Fed, hey, we're going to cut stuff rally, and then sell into it. So said that probably 5 days in a row last week. Get ready to buy any Fed rally and then sell it with both hands. This happened back in October, in the fall, folks. Buy the rumor, sell the news. Going into these Fed meetings, I told you buy, let's get bullish, and around just before the meeting, I said, what? Get out of it and sell and get bearish. And it happened every time. That's what's going to happen here. Buy the rumor, sell the news. Oh, and by the way, the G7 summit, right? The G7 summit's supposed to be tomorrow. You know how they're doing it? Well, they're all going to fly into Rio de Janeiro and shake hands and take a picture. The G7 summit tomorrow is having an emergency phone call, right, to talk about coronavirus. And they're not traveling to talk about coronavirus, okay? So I'm not going to beat a dead horse. If you listened to me last week and you were ready for this type of thing and bought the market with both hands today, I love you, man, and thank God and good job. However, if you got into some bearish positions today, they have plenty of time to work. We expected these type of volatile and violent moves in the market. This is what makes options trading super fun, fantastic time. Volatility, premiums through the roof. Okay, but if you want, this is a disgrace, folks. I in 2008, as the CEO of the Options News Network, I wanted it to burn. Screw AIG, screw Merrill Lynch. Things should fail. 2008, folks, was when we started this whole, in America, everybody gets a trophy bullshit. Companies should have been allowed to fail. And from the ashes, a phoenix would have arisen. This bullshit of let's step in to save capitalism is not capitalism. They are manipulating markets here, folks. And as long as you know what's going on, great. Smoke the opium and let's all get high. But again, the Fred Sanford, the big one is going to happen when, not if, central banks get involved and the markets don't believe it. For the last time, the Fed injecting liquidity is not injecting a vaccine. We get thousands of people infected in New York. They close the trading floor. The Fed will not. The Fed could do a human sacrifice, and the market's not going to go up. Beware the dead bat bounce. Okay, I got to go. Got a couple coaching calls on the other side of the clock from people around the world. We're done, folks. We're closed. We can't. The weekly options brief this afternoon. We're at capacity. We're not open. I'm not opening any more memberships in here at Top Gun Options. I've been talking to you for the past couple weeks. I'm going to keep doing these free trade briefs, folks, but we can't have more members. The quality, I do not want the quality here at Top Gun Options to suffer because of quantity. That ain't me. It ain't about the money, folks. It is about the quality. I'm good. And my happiness does not come from money. It comes from a beautiful wife, great kids, and being happy inside. So don't need the money. So we're done. Maybe I think on the calendar, our regularly scheduled next full throttle, quarterly thing, I think is in April. So you're most likely not going to hear from us for a little while here. So hopefully everybody got on board. Again, apologies to the solo Amazon folks. I should have contingency planned around people registering multiple times. We've never been in this type of situation before. So I'm not going to let that happen again. And we're closing the doors. All right, guys, have a great rest of your night. Watch some hockey, relax, take a look at how Asia. And here's the funny part. Again, last thing. Here's the funny part. You're going to see Asia open higher on who? Asian stocks open higher on U.S. equity market rally tomorrow morning. Wake up. Bunny slippers on, cup of coffee. U.S. Dow futures open higher on Asia market close. What? So we're back into this potential echo chamber of us, doing the one-handed high five with each other, right? It just doesn't work. So listen to me, folks, because we've nailed this whole thing. All right, that's it. 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, primary live trade brief. Have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge. God bless. I'll talk.